Hello and welcome to my first commentated review of one of the races I've been racing for F1 XL Formula 4. This time it's Monaco, and here I've just gone, we use standard setups in leagues, so I've gone for setup 1 and adjusted the front wing up to 11. I'll change the brake bias when I'd gone out, lowered it down a wee bit to 58% and kept the on throttle differential a wee bit low as well. Kicking out around 65%, which is a wee bit higher than I'll use in the race. Going into this lap, it wasn't actually the best lap I'd done faster sectors in my previous ones, but either screwed them up or invalidated them. So even still, this lap got me through to first place, so I'll just let you watch it. So that was my qualifying lap, which got pole position. As you could see, I got some gears wrong, dropped too many gears, actually bumped off a wall at one point as well. So it wasn't the tidiest lap, so given all that, really pleased to get pole position for the race. Turns out Warder was actually in a hot lap that could have beaten mine, but invalidated it, and therefore I managed to keep first place. So for the start of the race, I actually did something I'm not usually that good at doing, which is actually getting my revs just right for a good start, keeping position, get a bad tendency of losing places. I also tend to be a wee bit overcautious into the first corner, but I think everyone else was playing it safe, managed to hold on. So I got away cleanly, got a good start and just stuck into rich revs and just tried to kind of hold on. One of the players though, Cavi, had left the game at the start through internet connection problems, and naturally the game just can't handle it and brings out a safety car. So I've jumped forward onto stage where the safety car has come back in and the racing starts again, then try anything clever with the restart and try and back up the pack, just basically put the foot down, and so did everyone else. So I'm just going to actually just let it play for a wee bit, just because I kind of felt like I was actually racing quite clean around Monaco. I practiced quite a bit for this race, and yeah, I got a good rhythm going around it. So I'm just going to let it play on for a bit before I start skipping some of the longer bits between things that actually happened. So enjoy. Much as I was racing as well as I've probably ever raced in Monaco, it is Monaco, and therefore I was going to screw up at some point, and unfortunately it happened at the hairpin. I'd been getting a wee bit of a gap, but you can see I for some reason accelerate as I'm coming out the hairpin, and it just forces me wide, and I never normally do it. I don't know why I did it, but it did cause me a wee bit of an orange wing, a wee bit of yellow wing, but for some reason, although it makes you a bit slower, it didn't affect the car too much. So I just decided to push on. At the time, I was getting told by the game basically to pit around lap 15, but the game offered me the option to come in 12. I decided to go for the 12, but eventually I just pushed it to 14, which is obviously a few laps from now. But even by lap 11, I was actually getting to the point where I was starting to lap people. I just had such a good rhythm around this race that, yeah, as I say, it's probably the best I've ever raced in the game. As a wee quick aside, I did notice during that overtaking lapped cars that F4 host, or F1 XLK, who that actually is, took advantage of it and skipped over Snako, which I thought was quite clever. So in this section of the video, actually Warder, who you might have noticed was actually behind me much of the early part of the race and actually kind of keeping me honest at about 2.5 seconds of a gap, his game cut off his connection, and it meant that the AI took over and the AI decided to put him on a wall. So he did manage to get back in and go on a faster set of tyres, and yeah, he was just trying to unlap himself, so I just let him pass at this point, because yeah, having someone behind you just makes you kind of nervous and makes you less or more prone, to actually making mistakes. So it was just easier to let him go. He was at this point much quicker than I was. After letting Warder through, I mean, this is at the point at the end of this lap I'm actually going to pit, but you can start to see that Roland, who's just behind me, is who again I think by this point had been lapped because he's already done his pit stop, etc. But yeah, he's been on a flyer the last few weeks, and at this point he started to put quite a bit of pressure on me as well. But as I say, I don't think I really held him up here because I'm going to pit at the end of this lap. But yeah, it just starts to make you a wee bit scary, and you start pressing the look back button because you're getting confused about what's going on. The next wee bit here is actually me just basically messing about with editing. I noticed that actually I'd caught someone up, but I just thought it'd be fun to see what it looked like in fast forward. sectioned this off as a series of overtakes, but to be honest, I'm overselling it. The cars here were actually lapped, so they kind of just had to let me past. But even still, just a wee something different. This section of the race, this incident, I genuinely thought I'd have needed another, basically a new set of underwear. It was terrifying. I didn't realise I'd seen the yellow flags, but so often the yellow flags are just somebody's broke a wing. I wasn't expecting there to be a car actually parked there. So when I come round, I don't know if you saw, but I had to slightly snap the steering to the right. Yeah, that was kind of terrifying, to be perfectly honest. So we get to lap 27 in the race, and I believe it's Jono that's going to be the driver who basically has an incident with a wall and essentially brings out another safety car. Unlike the safety car at the start of the race, which was out for maybe, I don't know, I think it was the third lap it was out until, this safety car never went back in. It just didn't come out, but it was decided, because even if the safety car had gone in when it was expected to go in, which it went, I don't know, another 4 laps, it would have put it over 3/4 of a race. So the result luckily stood, because to be honest, I don't know if I could have done that race again without hitting a wall, hitting another driver or anything. So quite grateful that the result actually stood. It wasn't unexpected. I'd done a race with a few of the other drivers during the week, and the safety car in that race basically came out every 5 laps. So yeah, it's a shame Codemasters can't actually get that part of their game just working. It seems pretty ridiculous given the number of patches they've actually done, but hey ho, I did get the result, and yeah, absolutely more than chuffed with it. The best race that I've ever done, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, cheers for watching, and yeah, have a look at f1xl.co.uk. It's a great wee F1 league for Xbox. Cheers.